Agent Romanov. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to 𝗏𝗪𝗁𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗏, your #1 source for all things films and movies, and the brand new trailer for Loki for the upcoming Disney Plus show recently released, and we are so excited just because there's a lot of new things that we're starting to see in this new trailer that not only shows where this story could be going tonally, but also perhaps some new narrative directions that the story could be going in, which is incredibly exciting because after seeing our first trailer of this show, while we are still really excited from just that one alone, this one definitely showed more of the scope and variety that we could be seeing in this new show. And with Disney Plus's track record of making some really good Marvel stuff so far, we are really excited to see how this show will do in June when it releases, especially considering it is going to be kind of coming out right after The Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is right after WandaVision. So it's going to kind of be this third show that's going to show fans if Marvel has the ability to consistently make great content on the Disney Plus format kind of 3 times in a row. So we're going to look into this trailer a little bit and talk about what we know from this new trailer, what's been revealed so far, and what implications that could have for the future. Now, firstly, from the first trailer alone, we definitely did see Loki at the forefront, and mind you, the one thing we need to remember is that this is a version of Loki that is kind of right out of the 2012 Avengers movie. It's not the Loki we've seen grow over time through the Thor movies and into the later Avengers movies as well. But what's really interesting is this new trailer does show more of Owen Wilson's character, which is of course Mobius, which is really interesting because at first glance from that first trailer, it kind of looked like Owen Wilson's character would be there, but he wouldn't necessarily be as prominent of a character. But the second trailer kind of insinuates that this is going to be more of a duo type show, and we're going to be seeing a lot of Owen Wilson's character alongside Tom Hiddleston's character throughout the show, or at least throughout the first couple of episodes, from what we can just speculate off of this second trailer. It's really interesting to see more of that and see almost some sort of allegiance form, especially from a character who can kind of call Loki on a lot of the trickery and things that he's known for. There's literally a hilarious line in the trailer where he kind of calls Loki out for backstabbing people, which kind of is an iconic thing that Loki has been known to do. We also definitely see from this new trailer, it does look like we are going to be seeing a lot of experimental type of genre play in this new show. Not only are there a lot of different things that play, and we assume the idea of time travel and the fact that we're seeing something like the Time Variance Authority being introduced in this show obviously means that they're going to be diving into a lot of some of the major discrepancies that could have kind of devolved after Avengers Endgame. We actually see a timeline start to branch apart and break apart in this new trailer, alluding to what happened with Loki when he took the Tesseract, but also it could be leading to a lot of other possible explanations of just different things that happen when time starts to be altered. Now, we are starting to see this idea explored more and more in the MCU ever since Endgame, but now leading more into the future, just things with the multiverse constantly being hinted and teased, but never officially confirmed just yet. Like, for instance, in Spider-Man Far From Home, we're misled to believe that Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio was from another timeline or a different dimension type thing. And then same with WandaVision with what we had with the fake 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃. So now it's looking like this one's exploring, honestly, a straight up different timeline, and we're going to start to see some of the branching effects, and how this ends up playing out will be a huge indicator for what it could mean for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how they choose to approach this idea of branching timelines or splitting timelines off in one way or another, and how time travel could affect other sorts of things. We really still only have a vague explanation as how we can understand it from Avengers Endgame, and hopefully this Loki television show will fill in some of those gaps without necessarily confusing things along the way or making things harder to understand. It's definitely looking like they're going to be going down this fish out of water perspective, kind of forcing Loki to make allegiances. And while, like we said earlier, this this isn't the same Loki that has had a lot of growth and development in the various movies. This is the one from 2012. We might be able to see a very interesting narrative or growth of this character through this new type of story, especially if it's looking like Loki's going to be put in a position where he has to team up with people, whether it's Owen Wilson's character or others along the way, and start to build these different types of relationships and grow as a character in that regard. Just where this character will end up going and where this character will end by the end of the series run is definitely a big factor that's still up in the air, that we are curious to see where they end up going and what they end up choosing to do with it, especially with a title of an upcoming film such as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We definitely know that the multiverse door is kind of being ripped open eventually, like we're going to land there. Just how these other characters will tie into it, especially a character like Loki, will be incredibly interesting to see. We are really curious where all these set pieces that it looks like Loki is going to go will be taking place in. Obviously, just the ambiguous idea of the TVA existing in general, with agents who are supposed to be making sure that the chronologic timeline doesn't get messed up, is already kind of a vague idea, so how they explain it will be interesting. But also what we could consider is some of the other little ideas and snippets and set pieces we've seen from the trailers could be a huge indicator. There's still this scene that keeps popping up in various trailers where it really looks like Loki's in some purple area, reminiscent of maybe the Soul Stone, and he's talking to someone who does resemble the Black Widow, even though it might not necessarily be that character. But we are curious just why this imagery keeps showing up in the trailers, and whether this is a misdirection or something direct. Still another important part to point out, just because they brought it up again in this second trailer after having a short tease in the first trailer. Now, we've also seen a little bit from some of the actors who are going to appear in this show. For instance, Owen Wilson has talked a little bit about getting caught up with the Marvel lore for his role in Loki, and it's been interesting to see his perspective. And honestly, we're just so excited to see Owen Wilson jump into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially with a character that almost looks like it was made for him to star as.
Tom Hiddleston, kind of, who of course plays Loki, he kind of, they're almost like the kid, the Loki lectures, and so he, for a couple days, kind of walked me through everything and the whole lore and showing me clips from the other movies.
Then once again, we did see a little introduction from Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, where they were introducing Loki and kind of acknowledging the fact that the Falcon and Winter Soldier had released. But it's interesting once again because it kind of solidifies that these two characters are going to be the front runners of the show, that Owen Wilson's character might have a more prominent role than what was initially anticipated.
Anthony and Sebastian, in the spirit of your epic team-up, Owen and I have decided to unveil the poster of our epic team-up, our new series, Loki.
And here it is.
We can also look back and see Tom Hiddleston during the WandaVision launch event, which he was supposed to be there, and he talked a little bit, and he kind of plays into some of the storytelling techniques in WandaVision, almost drawing a parallel to his own character, which will be interesting to see.
When we last saw Vision in Infinity War, he was no longer living, but now he's alive. And I was just wondering, do you think that's more kind of a Loki thing, kind of my kind of thing? I just wanted to get your thoughts about that.
It's true.
And then, of course, we have heard Tom Hiddleston just talk extensively about some of the stuff that he's involved in the future, and it's been really interesting to see that perspective and how this will end out playing out, because honestly, Tom Hiddleston is such a great actor, and the fact that his character continues to live on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, despite it not being the same version of the character we've been following for years, it will be interesting to see, and it's just great to see talent like this not going to waste and continuing to get a story that moves things further along into the future.
It was an extraordinary evening of celebration of his work, and Lee Evans was there, and it's very funny. And you asked me to do this scene from Betrayal, scene 5, between Robert and Emma. where Robert discovers, or has discovered, in a hotel room in Venice, that Emma's been having this affair with Jerry. But it's the most extraordinary confrontation. It takes about 10 pages, which isn't a confrontation at all. It's an invitation to admission.
But what do you guys think of Loki coming to Disney Plus? Did you enjoy the new trailer? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for more videos like this. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.